All right, Shalom. First and foremost, before I get started, I want to give all honor and glory and power to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahakadash. I want to say double honors to our elders, our great apostles, great millstone, GMS, who rule well and teach well, being an example to Israel. All right, man, the elect. I want to say peace and blessing to the hopefully elect on the four corners, pushing their truth and sincerity. All right, that great sound is your brother Nabah. I just come with just a little quick lesson, through the spirit of probably how about Shema shot early morning scratch. As we continue to enter into a time of trouble, like I would say, with those that got ears to hear and eyes to see, all right, what we're gonna need, all right, to be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked, and also to be able to stand the wiles of the devil, because it's gonna get rocky. All right, it's gonna get rocky out here, man. And as you can see, the title of the lesson, it might be Memphis first. And what I mean by that, it might be Memphis first because dealing with Elon Musk, all right, and his agenda, all right, dealing with the AI technology, which Memphis goes back to ancient Memphis in Egypt, which was the capital. All right, I'm gonna let you hear this video and basically going to the dream I had last night. Every time I woke up and go back to sleep, it's the same thing, just chaos. Jake had just on a rampage, man. But it all fulfilled prophecy when you look at it. All right, dealing with end times. So just the bag, just point up, dealing with Memphis being the capital of Egypt. Did what Elon Musk says. And Lord willing, y'all brothers to be edified. While I lay the law down, man. Check this out. I ain't got to play it. Alright.
How old are you?
53.
Yeah, okay. So you said something that caught me. You said you were up till 4 in the morning?
Yeah,
so,
I'm actually a little 5 in the morning, but
okay.
We got the XAI data center, or supercomputer center training from beginning installation to start of training in 19 days, which is the fastest that anyone has ever gotten a supercomputer to train.
And is that in that new building off to the side?
That's in Memphis, actually.
It's in Memphis?
Yeah, Memphis, okay. The capital of ancient Egypt.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing what?
Perhaps that's where our new God will come.
Yeah, I wish that was funny.
You see that? He said that's where the new God gonna come from. All right, understand God mean what? Power. All right, so everything gonna be ran from off the grid of Memphis. All right, and he started laughing a little more.
Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about a line that...
That was funny.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Look, I mean, there are a few things we're aiming for with Grok, the XAI.
Yeah.
Well, Grok just means to deeply understand something.
Yeah, but it's got that weird background. That's Stranger in a Strange Land, right? Robert Heinlein. That was a favorite book of mine.
The first 2/3 of Stranger in a Strange Land are great.
Yeah, you see that?
How old are you?
53.
Now, and basically what I'm getting to, it might be Memphis first, because you got a lot of people in Memphis, they protesting, they marching, and basically they don't want Elon Musk and Donald Trump here. All right, they understand what the AI is doing. All right, building with the technology. Let me read a little bit in this article. It's an article from the Settle Medium. It said black folks. Not what? Why I just say black folks? Why don't say everybody? Why don't say people in general? It's just say black folks to Elon Musk. Hands off our neighborhoods. It's like. And what I want to do, I want to tie into what's going on in Spain and Portugal and France as dealing with their blackout. Because this devil is so smooth. All right, remember, he is a crafty individual. All right, so what he can do is, while you got these people in Memphis marching and protesting, putting up a fight, he can shut the whole grid down. All right, he can do the same thing that's done in Spain and Portugal and France. He can do it to Memphis. All right, and then once that happens, what's going to happen? Chaos, uproars of the people, confusion. And what they're going to lead to? It's going to lead to what? Killing. You see that? A lot of murdering. A lot of extortion. Looting and rioting. That's all that's going to cause. Then that's him bringing the order out of the chaos. All right? So that's why I want to tie all this into. I want to tie it into what's going on in France and Portugal and Spain, want to tie that to Memphis as these individuals keep on bucking the system against the government, man. Because like I say, the vision that I had last night is like it was just constantly war. It was like niggas just want to go beat up somebody, kill somebody, torture somebody. And it was all geared towards the government because the people was upset for what was going on. And I remember way back then I had a vision that you couldn't even go across the Mississippi River Bridge. They had a big ass wall up. You know? They had a big ass wall up, man. But it says, black folks to Elon Musk, hands off our neighborhood. Now it says, but it was abundantly clear at the meeting that many Memphis residents want nothing to do with Musk. It was a crowd, reckless affair with the 300 people in the auditorium and turned yelling, booing, and at least twice breaking into a song, "We Shall Overcome." That old ass tactic, you know? But it says, "An amazing grace." Both, according to news report, about 100 people were still waiting in line outside when the meeting started. The public comment were almost and not entirely impossible, like opposition to the permit application made by XAI. All right, so cause when you go into what he doing, all right, dealing with this AI system and how he put it together, the chemicals, the fumes, and it's something else. Basically, it's destroying the health department, destroying the health of the people dealing with South Memphis, like West Memphis, South Memphis, and I want to say Westwood because it's almost connected, you know what I'm saying, to one. All right. So it says, hold on. What is that? Okay, here you go. It says in the outset of the meeting, it says the company, all right, it said invested $80 million in a new wastewater treatment faculty. We want to help build a better, more sustainable electricity grid for Memphis, he said, which is all a host. All right, can understand what Elon Musk said on this video. Memphis, all right, is the new Egypt, and that's where a new God would come from. All right, so tied into everything that's going on in Spain, Portugal, and France. All right, if they bring an outage in Memphis, that's why I say it might be Memphis first. All right, because these people is putting up a fight against Donald Trump and Elon Musk and dealing with the AI technology. But one thing about it, this devil gonna go along with his plans, and whoever step in the way is gonna be what? Either killed, put in jail, all right, or outcasted. All right, no one's gonna stop the plans of these devils. All right, because everything is orchestrated by divine power, which is who? Yahweh Shema Shah. All right, so this thing's gonna be set up. All right, but what's going to cause the effect? You see that? And that's what we're going to focus on. What's going to cause the effect? All right, the people constantly marching, protesting. All right, and this is dealing with the Spain. It said massive blackouts paralyzed Spain, Portugal, and France, and now they say Europe too. Europe is now taking effect on the blackout. It says cause remain unknown, massive blackout. All right, it's unknown. So it says millions across Spain, Portugal, and France, all right, were left without power over the weekend as massive blackout brought major cities to a standstill. Traffic ground and halt, right, in Madrid, rail travel was suspended. It said that flight was canceled across Europe, and emergency lightning guided travel over darkness subway station. Now that's gonna put me in the mindset of 2nd Ezra 15. All right, because they do bring a black outage into Memphis. Guess what? You can't go into West Memphis. You can't go to Mississippi because Memphis is right in the middle of what? Arkansas and Mississippi. All right. So basically, it's gonna be a lot of bullshit going on. All right, when Elon Musk really bring the hammer down and really start to set up his AI technology, his computer system. All right, so that lead me to Jeremiah. So like, they lead me to Jeremiah 30. All right, and 7. As I said, it could be Memphis first. All right, it could well be Memphis first, man. Isaiah 30 and 7. It say, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It's even a time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And he's speaking about the elect. All right, but going to great tribulation, it can be Memphis first. You know, and it says, yeah, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It's even a time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob represents who? You so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American, Spanish, man. Your trouble. All right, but he shall be saved out of it. Speaking about the elect and the 1/3 of the men, women, and children, man. This has been preordained to be delivered. All right. So you go into 2nd Esdras 16. All right. And 17, it said, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? What day? Ezra saw the day that was coming, man. All right, the day that was coming. All right, it was like none other. When you go into Daniel, the 12th chapter, all right, it speaks about a day like no other. So Ezra like, shit, discretion unto me. Who gonna deliver me in those days, man? All right, and you put your visual on that. What was going on? All right, a lot of chaos, like a lot of uproars, a lot of, killing, a lot of destroying. You see, friends against friends, family against family, race wars, class wars, civil war. All right, these are things that Ezra saw. All right, it said the beginning of sorrow and great mourning, the beginning of famine and great death. So Elon Musk do. All right, as he going to do, implement, all right, this AI in Memphis. But guess what? This can be the start, all right, of Jacob's trouble, all right, because he going to set up, all right, this system, this supercomputer down, all right, because guess what? This going to bag up the MOTB. All right, this system, this computer down that he's setting up in Memphis, as he said, Memphis is the new Egypt. It's going to set up and put everything in line, all right, with the MOTB. All right. So it said this is the beginning of sorrows and great mourning, and the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, class wars, race wars, civil war. This is going to be the beginning. All right, because you have people marching and protesting and telling Elon Musk, we don't want you here. They don't want him here in Memphis. So what you think they're going to bring about? All right, no Conley trying to fight and march against the government. It's going to be a shutdown. All right, it's going to be a shutdown. And then guess what? The people going to buck up against that shutdown. And what you got? All right, you got civil war. All right, you're going to have class war. You're going to have those that, are down with the government. Because like I say, in that dream that I had last night, it was just constant chaos, man. Every time I went back to sleep, you know what I'm saying, and started back dreaming, it was just another episode or another scene. All right, of Jake in the streets hollering, got bats, got what them things is in the bottle with the the fire. Jake just got a lot of bullshit going on in my dream, and it was just crazy, just straight out chaos, man. Every time I went to sleep. But I always just like, damn, they could be, then the start in Memphis. It could be Memphis when you really look at it. All right, it said the beginning of wars and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, and what shall I do when these evils shall come, man? Because guess what? Evil and only evil is coming to Babylon the Great. But it can well start in Memphis dealing with Elon Musk and his technology, man. All right, it can very well start here. And guess what? Us being in Memphis, we got to be prepared. That's why I say, like to say, proper preparation prevent poor performance. But guess what? All that can lead and tie to what? Faith. All right? Because we see these things happening around the world in different countries. But we understand once it comes to Memphis, that's it. All right? So we got to continue to prep ourselves, all right, for these hard times, man, the evil times to come. Because like I say, these people don't want Elon Musk here. And when you're going against the grain, what's going to happen? All right? It's going to be a force against a force. And this force can lead to a black outage, you know what I'm saying, a lockdown, all right? And then they can lead to what? People resisting, all right? And that's going to lead to what? People die, people suffering, you know what I'm saying, for the cause, all right? Jacob trouble. You see that? All that could tie into this, man. That's why I say it could be Memphis first. Now it says verse 19. Behold, famine and plagues, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourge for a minute. But for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness. All right, because Esau not going to stop. All right, and you got these niggas in Memphis. I'm just speaking on Memphis. I ain't speaking on the whole, you know, Babylon. I'm just speaking on Memphis. All right, because these niggas out here grimy and gutter and crazy and stupid. All right, so all this shit going down, these niggas gonna get even hyped up. They're gonna get even more wicked. All right, they're gonna be willing to kill, you know, willing to destroy, willing to burn down this, then do this and you know, do that. All right, this just Memphis. You know, so like I say, it very well can be Memphis, man, that all this shit just crack off. You know, but it says, but for all these things, they should not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scorns. You see that? It's not. All right. Did I have any other article? Let me see. Cause I thought I had saved one of the articles that they were marching, but I guess I ain't saved. I thought I saved it, and they were marching. But yeah, that's all I had though. Lord willing, you know, y'all brothers and sisters edified, man. May the Lord continue to bless y'all morning. All right.